Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family. Are we still the best team in the world? That's a great question to answer. So, the thing that makes it hurt is because you just lost a a Club World Cup final 3-0, and it wasn't that close. Like, is Chelsea now the best team in the world? Because I felt in yesterday's video, it was more the emotions, how I felt after the game, how I felt. Now I want to talk more like tactically, footballistically about the game. Obviously, I slightly discussed that in the previous video. And as I said before, I think this game was lost for PSG in two areas. It was how bad we were off the ball and how good Chelsea were defensively. And also obviously how clinical they were. Chelsea were in the first half had 4 chances, 3 goals. One of them, basically millimeters away, that early Cole Palmer chance. Extremely clinical. Then they defended really well, pressed well, compact in the middle, defensively. We barely had any transition. I can't remember a transition apart from I think a long ball from some Desiree Due or someone to Hakimi. That was like the only time we got in behind Chelsea. And this raises the question, how could that happen? How could that happen? Because if you look at other teams that, apart from PSG, the best teams in the world, I can only mention probably 2 teams that have been consistent when you count in the UCL and the Club World Cup, and that's probably Bayern München and FC Barcelona. Maybe Liverpool as well. Liverpool, they faced us so early. That's why, they couldn't make a deep UCL run. They faced, Paris Saint Germain early on. But for example, Barca, they lost, by a goal in extra time. And then obviously they were not here at the Club World Cup. Bayern München, they lost for just 1 goal against Inter Milan, who got a lot of Fugazi-esque victories in the UCL. And then here they lost once again to PSG, Paris Saint Germain. It was 2-0, but it was basically 1-0, and then we got a goal at the end. Even though we were 2 men down, but Bayern performed really well. I think that's what makes this defeat so much fucking worse. Like, losing a final, losing out on a trophy is absolutely disgusting. But coming into this Club World Cup as the best team, proving that we're the best team against Atletico Madrid, Inter Miami, Real Madrid, doing all of this, beating Bayern as well, but then getting basically humiliated like this. And this thing, I don't even think, I think the scoreline is humiliated, but also in a sense how Chelsea nullified us offensively. I would say that's I don't think performance-wise Chelsea humiliated us. I don't think they absolutely cooked us like we cook teams. It was more, they nullified us, and then they were really clinical from their opportunities up top. And then, a lot of stuff we were bad at. I think that's what makes the claim, can PSG still be the best team in the world, a bit harder. And I said it before in the live stream, I don't think it's because a team has leapfrogged us. I don't think Chelsea are suddenly the best team in the world. They're definitely one of the best. Definitely. 100%. A lot of people, including myself, was underrating their Club World Cup run because of the teams that they faced. But they faced us, gave us a 3-0 thrashing, which no team has been able to do this season. And even other fan bases, Barca fans, they believe they could have beaten us if they played us again. I don't think they believed in their head they would beat us 3-0, or Liverpool fans or Bayern fans or anyone. That's what hurts. So I said, I don't think a team has leapfrogged us. I just think it's extremely embarrassing to call yourself the best team in the world and this happens. Because that's the thing, it's very hard for me to find examples of a team being so great as PSG. I was saying one of the best teams of all time, or at least, in our generation and so on, with that 09 Barca and the Madrid and so on. And other teams we were compared to the Bayerns and Cities, they never had a result like this. That's what makes this fucking result hurt even more, man. It doesn't rewrite anything for me. Absolutely no. Obviously for the haters, this 3-0 is gonna try to rewrite our history, even though it doesn't make any sense. Because you can only say that if you barely played any top teams. If you barely played any top teams, got an easy run, won a trophy, and then when you played another team, you lost. Then you could say, oh, the purple patch has ended, Fugazi. No, we've beaten Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Aston Villa. A lot of great teams. We have beaten them, with a lot of them with comfortability as well. So that's why I still consider us as the best team in the world. But it's so weird. It's so weird. Like when I start next live stream or I'm saying something and then Paris Saint Germain, the best team in the world, it just feels so weird. What even makes it even worse is for us to not reclaim our title. No, it's not like we had the belt and Chelsea just took it or it went to someone else because we lost. But to prove that we are the belt owners, that we are the belt holders, we gotta wait like 2 months. Like the disrespect I would see on PSG's name would be absolutely disgusting. I saw a Barca fan base, Barca Universal or something, tweet Lamine Ballon d'Or TikTok. Sometimes I've seen comments on YouTube, it's Barca fans say, why do you always bring up Barca? Why do you think so? Why do you think every time I scroll on Twitter, it's always fucking Barca fans saying delusional stuff? Sometimes I may see an Arsenal fan say a delusional thing. Sometimes it's a Madrid fan. Sometimes it can be a Chelsea fan. But Barca fan is legit every single time. Every single time. Like 50% of the most delusional, most embarrassing tweets I've seen always comes from Barca fans. It's hilarious. So for me, that's the thing I hate after this final. I even said it in the live stream that it's how people are gonna act. Especially the haters. The haters have been in a fucking stinky ass cave for I don't know how long. They've been in the most stinkiest of caves. The caves of the stinkiest people. They haven't been able to breathe. They see Aston Villa score 2 goals. They're like, oh my God, I can finally come out of the cave. No, 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 no. They see Paris Saint Germain, Liverpool, first leg. We can't score. We miss so many chances. Liverpool get the goal. They all come out of the cave. And then we get them back in. And now the streets are filled with these mutants, with these dishonest mutants. And we're not going to let that happen. We are not going to let that happen. I've been completely honest and transparent with my opinions, my emotions after this game. And as you can see by the title, Paris Saint Germain, still the best team in the world. I still believe so. By somewhat of a distance. Because I don't think there has been a team as maybe Barca, maybe Liverpool, maybe Bayern. You see, comes a lot of teams. So I still think Paris Saint Germain are number one. But so the gap between us and the rest, I'm not gonna say number 2, number 3, number 4. I don't care about. All right, nobody cares about number 2s and 3s. We only care about number 1. What I would say this defeat has done, closing the gap. The gap between Paris Saint Germain and the rest has been closing by this defeat. Because it's not just a defeat. Sometimes you can lose. Even if you're by far the best of all time, the GOAT, everything. Sometimes you just lose. It just happens. It's like Barca, prime Barca under Pep. They lost to that Chelsea side and it was more of a fugazi victory. Season after that, they won the UCL and it didn't matter. They were still the best team across those 3 seasons, even when they didn't win the UCL. But they lost to a defensive Chelsea performance, missed a penalty, had so many more chances than Chelsea. That's why this results in everything. It's such a bad one that it can give ammunition to these disgusting dogs. So to answer the question, I think the gap has become smaller. And as this Paris Saint Germain team have been, pushed to be doing, they gotta prove themselves once again. They gotta prove themselves once again. It hurts. It hurts so much. Try my best to move on from it, to not think about it. But I know that every single time I'm gonna do a video, when I become PhD, when I'm with my family or friends, I think about that. But I know for sure, for certain, when I turn on the camera, 3-0 Chelsea. When I see the comments, 3-0 Chelsea. And I mean, I'm not gonna say it's undeserved or something. I'm just gonna say that's something that's always gonna be in my head for at least a while. That's why we need to face Chelsea. Champions League group stage or knockout stage. Group stage now closer. Would love that more. When I'm sitting there watching that draw, I'm praying to get Chelsea FC. Praying to get Chelsea FC. But as I said, shout out to Chelsea. Shout out to Chelsea, their supporters, their players, their manager. Club World Cup. What, the world champions. So, yeah, that's my answer to the question. It's going to be interesting how you guys feel. You can let me know in the comments down below. You know, you cannot win everything. We tried winning everything. I said in the stream as well, I felt like, I even said it, I felt like the Madrid game was the final. We got ahead of ourselves. A bit like Inter versus Barca. You know, we were like Chelsea in the Club World Cup in the UCL. We've played Arsenal, the Fluminense. Everyone knew, come on. Everyone knew. Maybe someone tried to be interesting, but everyone knew. But then the Inter-Barca game, watching it, the first leg and everything, you're like, can be tight here. Not maybe because of like football, but just the goals. Like Barca just conceded way too easily. So you didn't know going into the second leg how it was going to go. Whereas PSG, you know, us in the Madrid game, we put so much energy, mental effort into it maybe. Because it's still weird. As I said, I think we lost a lot of the game. Like, what we can blame on ourselves. Like, there's stuff that Chelsea were just so good at. Like defending, being clinical. But what's the thing we can move away from this final? We could have improved. Was off the ball. We were potentially tired. I don't want to say that because it sounds like such a lame excuse, but I've read like Kvara said, like, oh, we're a bit tired, but we still want to win this and everything. We've had such a long season, so many big games. And that's why I haven't hated on any single PSG player. I haven't hated on Luis Enrique or anything because of the memories they've given me this season. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We've won the UCL. First in our history. And we knew this. We knew during this beautiful Club World Cup run, whatever happens, we won the UCL. But obviously, I wanted that cheeky double. We'll try to move on from it. Hopefully transfer news comes up so we can start talking about that and move on from it. 3-0, man. It's in a final, man. I still cannot believe it. When I was sitting there when the first went in, the second, the third, I still can't believe it. But yeah, that's football, I guess. And one thing I'm irritated about, last thing, is people trying to downplay Chelsea's victory, our performance, Chelsea's performance, this tournament in general. Extreme weak mentality. This is a humongous tournament. Even if you don't want to say UCL, this is a major tournament. This is a major club tournament that we should have won. But as I said even before, the Chelsea player looked so hungry. You know, that's what I thought about Madrid. I thought because Madrid had such a disgustingly poor season, trophyless, and boobies and everything, that they would be like so hungry versus us. Whereas maybe we would be a bit complacent. We've won the UCL. But we showed the hunger and everything the entire run. And then in the final, I don't know, man. It just felt like maybe it was because definitely how good Chelsea were and how hungry they were. But I know it's still like a question mark. Why weren't they hungrier in the final? Could have been tiredness. I guess that's the most logical answer, especially when it comes to the press and so on. But yeah, I guess looking at the positivity of this is they will be hungry for next season. We just lost the final 3-0. So I guess that's the positive to take away from this. Because for me, that was the biggest danger going into the upcoming seasons. Especially if we won the Club World Cup. We won the UCL and the Club World Cup in the same season. How can we possibly be hungry next season? This season we were so hungry. You know, last season we won every trophy apart from the UCL. We reached the semi. We said next season we'll win it all, including the UCL. And we did that. And we also tried for the Club World Cup. Came to the final. Champions League winners and Club World Cup final. Yes, you lost in the final. You're still a loser, but what a dominant year. So unfortunate, man. We could have done the double. And there will be no septuple now. The first in football history. Maybe we jinxed it. No. Actually, I forgot. The first time we can get at least some happiness is 13th of August. Basically less than a month away. I know it's Spurs, but UEFA Super Cup versus a Premier League team. I mean, Madrid faced Atalanta last year, but facing Spurs, that's way more like PR game. A lot of Prem fans would watch that. All Arsenal fans would hate to watch that game as well. So I guess that's the next game we can go and pump. We can start the memes. PSG are gonna take out their anger on Spurs. But as I said, I don't like the narratives from the haters. Underrating PSG, saying so on. They've been found out to something. But as this team has always been doing, they will prove the haters wrong. That's been from boy PSG. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual,